why is the love for a fellow Jew that you should love your fellow Jew as you love yourself? Why is that a command? How can you achieve that? So it really depends on how you look at yourself. If you look at yourself as a extension of the animal kingdom, and therefore just a survival, pleasure-seeking, self-oriented person that comes from the body, then you cannot love anybody else except conditionally. What I get from you, what I gain from you, will be the judgment on whether I care for you and love you, and you will be in my sphere, in my world. Because the love is conditional. I love you because you bring a smile to my face. I love you because you do so many good things for me, or things that are important to me. You do, whether they're for me or not, but you do them. I love you for that. Well, what happens if you stop doing those wonderful things, like being charitable, like being kind? So I don't love you anymore. That's called a body love. That is a conditional love. That is not based on soul. That's based how good you are. And most of the people, I would say, in the world, that's how we love people. We love them for what they do. For what they do. Again, there's room for that. We should love people for what they do. You do great, good things. That makes you lovable. You're sweet, you're kind. That makes you lovable. That's fantastic. And that's the way of the world. And that's the way the world functions and will continue to function. But there's a deeper love, like a parent and a child. It's unconditional, right? It's unconditional. So even if the child is, not acting the way the parent would like, there's still that unconditional love that's there, which makes sense. But that unconditional love does not really exist for everybody. It exists only for those that are really important to me. And the truth is, in a way, it's conditional. Because you're my child, so therefore I love you. So it's kind of conditional on that. If the child divorces himself from their parents, well, they'll still consider them a child, so therefore the love will be there. It's true. That's true. However, even that love is between a parent and a child, for example, is phenomenal. However, in a sense, it's not as deep as the love we're talking about over here. Because in the end, the parent is the parent, the child is the child. They're separate entities, they're separate beings. And hence, there can be a condition, a conditional love as a result. It's possible. It's possible. What we're talking about over here, or the Alter Rebbe is teaching us, is that the love is not based on the body and the needs of the person. It's not based on the needs of the person. If you have needs and needs are being fulfilled by somebody and therefore you love them, that's conditional. Here it is because the souls all come from the same source. All Jewish souls come from the same source in God. And since they all come from essentially the same source, even though they come down through the order of the Ishtalshalus, of the creative order, they can come down and be different levels of the expression of the divine. But in the end, they all come from Avecha Lekulana. They come from all one Father that we have, and all the same. And hence, as a result of this, literally the Jewish people are like one family, one people, in a literal sense. Brothers and sisters, literally, not figuratively. People come to my house for Shabbos and they're like taken aback. Like, wow, you're so nice, you're so kind, and you're so good to us. I say, no, not really. I'm not doing this out of kindness. If you are you and I am I, so then, okay, I'm doing a kindness to you. Yeah, I like doing kindnesses, so I do it. No, I really feel that you're family. A fellow Jew is family, literally. So therefore, of course I'm going to, be good. Because it's like being good to, something that's a part of you. With this now, we can understand what it means to love your fellow Jew as yourself. Well, who's you? If you're the body, then you cannot really come to love as you can't love the person as yourself, because you're going to love yourself more. I want the pleasure. I want the joy. I want the self-fulfillment for me. I'm fine, whatever you have, but, whatever my self-oriented being wants, it wants it for itself and not for anybody else. And therefore we're competing with each other, right? Okay, I don't need everything, so I'm going to be a little humble and I'll get, you can have too, right? But here's a whole different attitude. If what's most important in my life is the soul and the body, actually, its agenda, its nature is kind of repulsive because it's self-oriented, and that's not what I want. And so from the point of view of the soul, all Jewish souls are bound up in one. So you feel that connection. So why am I loving you? Because I'm loving you as myself. Well, who am I? I'm the divine Jewish soul. That's who I am. Oh, nice to meet you. You're also a Jewish soul. So I'm loving you as I'm loving myself. If I love myself because I'm a great artist, I'm an accomplished athlete, I'm an amazing, caring person, that's what I love myself. Well, then I will love other amazing good people, but not people who are not so amazing or not so good. I love accomplished people, but people that are nebuch, there's no place for them. So you get the picture. But if I love myself for my Jewish soul, well then, ipso facto, another person with a Jewish soul, I'll love them too. Very different mindset and perspective. And this is what the Alter is saying. And that will be unconditional then. So this is a love that you can command. What are you commanding? Think about this. Contemplate it. Meditate upon it. And then that will bring you automatically to love your fellow as yourself. Because you're thinking about who are you and who is the other. Wow, look at that. We're really bound up together as one. That's amazing and that's powerful. Now, for other peoples, well, what is the love that people have for others? Conditional. You're a good person, so and you have value for me in my life. So, then there's a love. So, So there can be a bond with a non-Jew because they're created in the image of God. They also have a soul. It's not the same soul as the Jewish souls that are bound up together. All Jewish souls are bound up together. That's why Jews take care of each other, because we bound up to each other, not by a national identity. And when there's a national crisis, so therefore you feel bound up, I mean, maybe it expresses itself then more, right? But no, we're bound up. Um, so there is that bond, that connection, but it's not as deep rooted as the Jewish souls are to each other. More than another time. All right. Questions, comments, thoughts. I have a few minutes left. All right. 2 question marks, and then ask your question. So Jay is asking a good question. You know, if you're making divisions of us and them, us and others, you know, that's what people do. That's what, you know, the Nazis did, right? Um, yeah, the difference is Nazis made humans and subhumans. We're making Jewish people with Jewish souls and non-Jews with divine image of God, that is their soul too. And we're not making them subhuman. So is there distinctions? Absolutely there's distinctions. You see, the world is made full of distinctions. There are all different kinds of species of animals, all different types of species of plants, trees. Each thing has its uniqueness, its difference, and we need to appreciate that. We need to appreciate that. So to make distinction, to make this and that, you know, is it depends. If it's coming from the ego, it's coming that I want to make myself better than you. So that's a problem. So if the Jew is coming from that place, you know, oh, I want to make myself better than you. Yeah, so that's not healthy. It's not what God wants. But if it's understanding a fact that the Jewish souls are all bound up together, um, and therefore we are literally, you know, related to each other, and that's what makes us one people. Um, and that ultimately leads us to what God wants from us, is to be a light onto the nations, not to subjugate the nations of the world and, you know, just destroy them. No. But thank you, good question. Rick, are we to love the Jewish people more than others, or just differently? Well, it's a deeper love. So in that sense, it's more. You know, it's a deeper reality of who you are. Again, why do you love yourself? You love yourself because you're so terrific. You do so many wonderful things, and just enamored with your. Well, you're not going to be able to love others unless, you know. If you're a skier, you'll love other skiers. If that's what you love about yourself, oh, I love myself. I'm a basketball player, so I'm going to love other basketball players. right? Or if I'm an artist, I'm going to love other artists, naturally, because that's what I love about me. But if I love about me is my soul, that's a different story. Do we have to increase in our Ahavas Yisrael since the lack of it? Yes, we need to increase our Ahavas Yisrael, absolutely. Um, when an outsider attacks us and wants to steal what belongs to us, how does God want us to protect ourselves? Fight back. Fight back. And pray at the same time, knowing that God is the source of your blessings. Andrew, to the pain that we feel if a Jew or Israel and the citizens are attacked come from, yes, very good, Andrew, thank you. We feel bad what's going on in the Ukraine, right? But when it happens in Israel, we skip a heartbeat. Jews do. How come? Because we're intrinsically connected. We feel bad what's happening to the people in Ukraine. I mean, there's many Jews there too, by the way. Um, but yeah, we feel bad for anybody, any human being. But when it happens in Israel, for example, we skip a heartbeat. We skip a heartbeat. It's very different. Okay, strategic. And I have to actually leave in a moment. I have another obligation. Can we say a prayer for the Jewish people in Ukraine and for all people? Yes, absolutely. We should say some Tehillim. Does God not hate the Rishonim regardless of whether they're Jewish or not? If it is so, isn't God's love also conditional? Very good. Strategic, exact. We're going to deal with that in the forthcoming classes. What about a Jew that is a bad Jew, right? A sinning Jew. We're going to deal about that. More of that to come. On that to come. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to actually excuse myself right now. I would love to stay, but I'm called away. All right. Good. Thank you. And Michael, maybe Sunday we'll continue. See that you have. All right, folks. More on this to come. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad, Zich and Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day and a good Shabbos. God bless you all.